Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Opinionated Lushes Does Books and Booze, the segment where we invite on an indie author, let them read a little bit of their book, and ask them some questions. So I'm going to pass it to Dawn to let us know this week's author.
Hey everyone, I'm super excited. Today we have Slater with us. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long you've been writing? Do you have pets and what are their names?
So I'm originally from DC, but I live in New York now. Um, I have been writing since I was 5. I have always wanted to be an author, but my parents are like, hey, we're not paying for that degree. So I went to school for chemistry and I now work in pharmaceuticals. But I'm like, I'm also going to write on the side. And my parents are like, that's fine, but you can't quit your job. And I was like, fair. So writing it right now is just a hobby. But I also share my time with 3 dogs. Um,
Aw.
and so I have a pug mix. Her name's Minji. She's turning 8 this year. And then I have a shepherd Newfie Doodle who is turning
What a noosey
5.
doodle.
Yeah, so she looks like a Scottish Terrier, but
Okay.
she's like thin and long. She looks weird, but she's adorable. She's got the whole beard stash thing going on, everything. And then I have Mochi, who's the youngest. She's turning 2, and she is a Rottie Australian Shepherd mix.
Oh, that your dog is that's the one I'm gonna love. Rotties are my weakness.
Come here, Mochi Mots. Come here.
Special YouTube exclusive.
That's Moo.
Puppies! Look at the little doggos. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
All right, you can go back to sleep now.
that is adorable.
The other one's like sitting behind me, under me, basically.
It's like, I'm shy.
It's like I don't want to be on the camera. No. So, you want to tell us a little bit about the book that you're going to be reading today?
So this book is the first installment in my Sapphic Romantasy series. They're very short, 100 pages or so, all about queens getting their +1, sometimes +2, depending on what the book is. And this particular one, it follows the royal seamstress and her relationship with the princess and kind of breaking out of the mold that the princess has to marry royalty.
Okay.
So they have like basically a little, here's the 3 trials you have to go through and show me that you're worthy of the princess. And so she embarks on that to win the princess hand.
This sounds really interesting. I'm super excited to hear about it. Jessica, what is our drink word?
Okay, well, our drink word is princess, but also we're supposed to drink every time she pushes away. Is she the princess or the seamstress?
Yes,
Okay,
the princess.
so princess, and every time she, pushes away a little bit.
Sounds good. Whenever you are ready, we're going to mute our mics just so you don't hear us slurping and burping. And yeah.
I apologize if puppies pop in and out because they are very clingy.
We're used to it. Sonia, our other co-host, has like 6 dogs.
Oh,
yeah.
So, yeah.
And they're all Great Pyrenees, basically. So, and 2 mixed mutts, but yeah.
All right. I will stumble because I did not grow up being able to say curse words, but I write them. So
that's okay.
I pause. All right. Chapter 1. Give me one more, I whisper, loving the way the woman lying beneath me is trying her best to stay quiet. Her fingers slip into my perfectly manicured hairstyle, pulling the pinup loose. My curls splay of her bare thighs as she tugs, her legs pressing against the sides of my face as she twists and turns beneath the attentions of my tongue. My fingers curl around her hips, digging into the ruffles of her dress that I rucked up earlier. The delicious bite of pain that I deal her rewards me with a whimper. Fuck, Fee, please. I love when she begs, especially when it's for me. She may be the next queen of Kusavania, but here, in her bedroom when it's just us, I am her savior and her worst nightmare. I run my tongue through her folds, savoring her taste before pulling back again. Come on, princess, just one more. Her whines fill the room, bouncing off the velvety covered walls, consuming her sweet little sounds. I stuff 2 fingers in her pussy before nipping at her mound, her entire body bowing off the bed as she whimpers through an orgasm. I lap up her release, her fingers tightening in my hair till it's almost painful, but I don't stop until she's pleading for relief. God, I could live between these legs all day, I murmur, placing several kisses on her inner thigh before crawling back up her body. Her eyes are half lidded with pleasure as she drags me into a kiss, not minding her own taste on my lips. You basically have been, she finally says when she pulls away, her eyes sliding shut, the weariness of the royal life seeping from her. Princess Daniela has been tense for the past week, gearing up for the once-a-year gala, and I just knew that she needed the release. I thought you said you were busy, she says, before stuffing her face in the curve of my neck and resting against my side. I wrap an arm around her waist, the other playing with her mussed hair. She cut it a few months ago, while most of the kingdom takes pride in the length. I quite prefer the shorter style. It suits her. I purr in her ear. I still am. A grin splits across my face as I reach down between her legs, pressing lightly against her clit. She squirms as she grabs my hand and pulls it away. Goddess, no more. If I trip during the gala tonight, Kusavani will think I'm dying or something. A chuckle tears through my lips at the worry in her expression. I press the kiss to the bridge of her nose. Well, we can't have that, princess. After all, you should be carried. Taking the opportunity, I roll her over onto her back, kissing her fiercely as she melts beneath me. Too soon, she comes to her senses and slaps my arm. Fee! No, you have to go get ready anyway. I grumble and climb off of her, slowly sitting up as I try to tame my curls. It's a poor attempt. All the maids will know exactly what's going on here, but I'm not worried. They've known about me and the princess for months, although it'll never pan out. This gala is supposed to be where the king will pick. This gala is supposed to be where the king will pick Princess Daniela's suitors. Just another reason I stole her away for some personal time. It might be the very last time I'm able to. You're coming, right? Daniela asks as she scoots over to the edge of the bed behind me. She's still in that lavish baby blue gown that I couldn't be bothered to rip off of her earlier. Now I wish I had so that I could feel her naked curves against my back. Serafina. My voice is said with a stern command, the same command that she uses with the Kusavanian people. I twist around to see her hardened expression, but beyond that, she's pleading for me to show up. It's just a bunch of posturing, princess. There's no place for me there. Besides, my father will have a suitor for me in the next week, and the king will have. She firmly presses her lips to mine, cutting me off. And I don't want to hear it. Besides, my ex will be coming. Oh, I'm going. She giggles, knowing that would cement my decision. While the thought of her in anyone else's arms pains me, her ex is never allowed to touch her again, not with the way she hurt the most precious woman in the world. Daniela's smile brightens up the room. She slips off the bed and moves towards her closet. I knew that would work. Oh, and Fee, wear something purple. I head for the back door, nodding. As you wish, princess. You can call me Daniela, you know. And we both know that's not why I call you my princess. Besides, one day you'll be my queen. Promise? Daniela. I know. One can hope, though. That's the end.
That is so hot.
Oh my god.
So hot.
That's chapter 1. That's how all of these series start. They just kind of like jump in.
Right there. And I'm married to a man. Why? Like,
I mean, I would just like some cuddles, so that are not dogs, by the way. I get cuddles from the dogs.
True. True.
Fair,
It's
fair.
genuine. It started so high. I was like, okay, how's it gonna get better? And then it does. It keeps
It just
going.
does.
It just keeps going.
I'm like, damn, we're right off like to a good start.
Okay. I'll start with questions.
Yeah.
Um, you say you said earlier how your parents like you wrote, but it's only a hobby. Have they read anything you've written?
Oh no.
No,
My
no.
parents are very conservative Christian. Um, to the point that anything I write is like of the devil. Like, so like I could never share it with them ever. Older sister, super supportive. Little sister is a mood reader, so she will read bits and pieces of things that I write and be like, okay, that's nice. And so she's happy for me, but she doesn't read enough for her to do anything with it.
Yeah,
Fair.
I get that. You also said in the beginning that you were from BC and then moved to New York. So are you a dual citizen of Canadian and the US?
DC, like Washington, DC.
Oh, I thought you said BC. I was just
No.
like, she's Canadian too, like half Canadian.
Cool
I was like,
disclaimer
yeah.
anyway. We need
Well,
more,
I mean, I could get
Canadian.
into Canada. I was there last week, if that counts.
Well, that's where we're from. So I'm all like, okay.
You know.
So you've always written, but obviously you kind of have a separate career that you ended up taking. Do you regret that choice at all, or are you happy that you have like a job and then now you can focus on your writing?
I don't regret it at all. There are a couple of times before COVID I did, and then seeing how many people were without jobs. If I had been an English teacher, full-time writer, whatever it was, I would not have a job. But because I was part of the first responders, emergency personnel, I never lost my job throughout COVID. We actually got raises at some point. And so like I could still write on the side and have fun, but I had my car, my house, my everything that I needed, and it wasn't going anywhere. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fortunate. That was, but like also you like were at the risk too, right? Because you're like front of the line right there.
yeah.
So
Therefore, they deserve the money and raises they
exactly.
got.
If anyone's getting the raise, it's healthcare. So how do you get motivated for your books? Like, is there certain movies that you're like, oh, I want to duplicate that, but like in a different story, like telling frame? Or is it, I don't know, just different things that you've seen? You're like, I want to redo that.
Occasionally that happens, but I'm more of a chaos writer where I just kind of stare into space and be like, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be funny if, which is what I used to do when I was a kid, and none of them were ever funny, and my parents hated it. I'd be like, wouldn't it be funny if a robber came in? No, honey, no, that's not funny. But I was like, you haven't let me finish my story. And now I'll pull that, and I have my alpha team, and they're like, okay, that's great, make another channel in the Discord, put that away, you have a due date in a couple of days that does not revolve around this new idea. But a lot of them just come from staring into space and then going, what if I twist this? And then that's what I get.
So you say chaos writer. I'm assuming that means you're a pantser over a plotter.
Yeah, I publish anywhere between 1 to 2 books a month.
That was gonna be my
That's
next
amazing.
question, was how long does it like take you to like finish a book? That's insane.
So I have a lot of backlog because I've been writing forever. So I'll have my YA/young adult versions of a lot of my books. And now it's just going back through them. So my January book came out to like 167,000 words because that's just how it happened. It started as a 40,000 word book. Me and my alphas were just like, we're going to publish this. And we're like, okay, here it goes. And now it's out there.
That's crazy. No, there is like this TikTok, like thing going around where authors are attacking other authors for how fast they write. They're like, oh, they must be using AI. They must be. No, this is just like some creative minds don't shut off. And therefore, they're pumping out stuff left and right. And they don't have any distractions. It's just like tunneled in. Like where some other people do have distractions. They have kids. They have other third, second jobs. So, like, it changes with everyone. So like I don't understand why people would be so mad of someone writing 2 books in a month. I would love that. Like that's like I'm like, sweet, that means I can get my stories out faster. That means I can read them faster. I don't have to be like, what was that story about again that I read 6 months ago?
It just
Like,
sounds like they're jealous.
So
They are.
here's the thing, though. I will still make people wait anywhere between 3 and 10 months for a sequel.
Okay.
I'm not writing sequels back to back. And I do that on purpose because, one, I want to gauge the public opinion of my book. If there's something where they like, oh, they really figured that out, I didn't want them to. I got to do something for book 2. Or if they did just really hated it, okay, great, I'm going to tweak such and such, or I can put out a new edition of book 1 or something like that. But then it also gives me time away from the characters.
Yeah.
So I can put them down and then come back to them with a fresh eye, because I have to reread book 1 just to make sure that everything fits. And if I do it right after I release book 1, I'm going to miss it. So
Yeah.
most of my sequels are about 6 months apart.
Which isn't bad. I was just using as an example, be like when they get mad that people write that, and just like, why are you getting mad? When other people will admit that they don't read the series until it's completed, so they can, just do it back to back. I'm like, if an author is gonna write it all in like 5 month span, like why do people care? I think anyone should write on their own time, however they choose to.
I think anyone that can finish one book, that's crazy.
Right?
You wrote a whole book. Wow. Like,
Most
good
people are like,
on
oh
you.
my goodness. And I'm like, you sit down and write a book then. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you sit down, write the book, and then tell me that you're having an issue. And then we can talk. Before that?
Exactly. Like, I've been writing on and off for like the past like almost year. I'm just like, I'll pick it up and then I'll stop. And I'll pick it up and then I'll be like, I didn't like what I wrote. So now I got to like scrap the whole thing and rewrite a whole new story because I did not like how that went. Like, you fall out of love. And then I'll get distracted. I'll have my kids doing some other fucking thing. And then I'll be like, oh, now I have nothing going on. I want to write. 3 a.m, I'll have an idea. I'll be like, sweet, like I should put this down. And then 2 months later, I'll be like, I don't know. Do I really like that idea after all?
All done.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Fair. Your characters, do they come to you like fully developed voices in your head, or do you develop them throughout writing?
It's a little bit of both. I can't see any of them in my head, so I will stumble on someone who goes, okay, that's her or that's him. But that's why I don't always describe everything in my stories. The one thing I love telling people is the way I know their height. So I have one of those metaphorical, like those tall dressers.
Yeah.
And depending on how they lean on it, tells me how tall they are. So if their elbow is on the dresser, like on the top of the dresser, they're 6 foot something. If they're leaning with their shoulder at the top, they're 5'7" to 5'11", and then all the way down. But like, I'm like, go in my head, go stand by the dresser so I can figure out how tall you are. Great, thanks. Anything else?
That's such a cool creative tool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because if it doesn't matter for the story, I don't see it. Like, I'll see, the jawline, maybe like the curve of the teeth when they smile, their eyes, hairstyle, and color. But that's it. I don't know anything else. I could care less what you're wearing, just as long as you have clothes on. Most of the time.
Sometimes not. Like,
yeah.
like,
sometimes not. Exactly.
We like either. It doesn't matter. So what do you find is like more interesting to you? Would you say character build up or world building?
character buildup. I suck at world building. 9 times out of 10, I won't do it.
You're just like, just leave it in the modern world. I know that one, okay? Like, don't put me in a different world. I wouldn't know what to do.
It's more of, it makes me think too hard and it takes me out of the story. So there's a lot of fantasy that I can't read, because when you say a road, I need it to be asphalt. I need it to be concrete, something I know. We're walking down the street. I can't have it be pillows of clouds and then halfway through the story, Mr. Joe Schmo falls through the street. Why is he falling through the street? It's asphalt. They're like, no, remember when we made it out of clouds? No, I didn't remember. I skimmed over that. I forgot.
Streets are not made out of clouds. Why would I remember that?
Like, it was just supposed to be a street. So I can't do like world building like that. So I stay in the modern world or the parallel modern world and put some creatures in there, and then we move on.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, fair.
I couldn't do that. I could not do a fantasy world because, like, I don't feel that. First of all, I'm not creative to think. And then I would forget half the stuff that I put in. Or I'd become so obsessed with it, I'd probably mention it 100 times within the first 5 chapters. And it would just be so redundant and over that people would be like, okay, like, we get it. We get it. He lives in a cloud. We get it. Like,
Yes, very nice.
Well,
she will start making chewy sounds. And it's basically because I'm talking to other people. So, do you need something new?
She's jealous.
like,
Every time I open my mouth.
So when it comes to like what motivated you to finally like release a book, finally be like, you know what, I'm putting one out there?
So let's see, started in 6th grade. Actually, my English teacher was like, you're doing writing stuff, we need to get you to do actual writing stuff. So what we are going to do is we're going to have you write your little short story and then stick it in a like an anthology or something. And I was like, okay. So my first published piece of fiction was when I was 11 years old, and my mom bought the copy and had me sign it, and like that, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And then I got into some poetry, and I was like, that's not really my jam, but okay. And then I self-published 16 or 17 with a vanity publisher. I didn't learn my lesson because then I did it again like a year later. And I was like, yeah, let's not do this. So for a while I just wrote on like Wattpad and a few other free sites. And then I was like, you know what? I want it in print. So I went trad first, and everybody told me that nobody's going to publish Why Choose. Because my very first book was a Why Choose suspense with like towards the end. And they were like, nobody publishes this. And I was like, I read it all the time. What do you mean? All of those authors made their own publishing houses. Like 90% of my Why Choose authors are indie published. And I was like, oh, I guess I gotta go self-publish. So my very first one was with an indie publisher. And then I was like, that's all I'm gonna do it on my own. And so from there, I was like, let me try and do this on my own. I stumbled a little bit. And then after that, I was like, I can do this. I need my team, my art graders. And then one of my best friends lives in Germany. She makes all my covers, will not let me pay her. So
it's good to have friends.
I donate $50 to her every month. But she's like, oh, you need a new cover? Not a problem. I got you.
This is why you need friends. You just need friends in every, like, I don't know where I was going with that, but you need friends.
My goal is to have a friend in every city, so I always have a couch to crash on, no matter where I am.
I mean, I'll just sleep in my car, so.
I don't drive.
Well, in that case, then yes. Couch in every city. Well, now you have one outside of Buffalo. So.
Yeah.
And you got
super close to us because we are just an hour away from the border. So
wait, hold on. Are you really that close?
Yeah, we are.
Oh man. I was in Ontario last week.
That's where we're from.
Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're from
Mm.
Hamilton. So
I
we're
don't-
just like an hour away. Like
It's
it's
like 40 minutes away from Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
Canada side. So
Okay.
very close.
yeah, very close. Well, now we need to take a road trip down there. I'm just saying.
Well, I heard that we're actually going to be seeing her this year anyway.
In
Where?
October, yes, we're going to
Ah!
be at the
Yay!
Suburban. Yes.
How are you guys getting down there?
Flying.
Plane. Yeah.
Lane.
I don't
Yeah.
drive.
I'm
None of
road
us drive.
tripping. I am road tripping all the way down.
Oh, that's awesome.
That sounds fun though.
I'm jealous.
Are you
Well,
going with like a group of friends, or are you just going by yourself?
We are meeting up there. So we have like a writing Discord that we had kind of all met on TikTok. And so as we've kind of grown together, we're like author signings. And then this was the one that we all could be like, okay, I got a babysitter. I can do this. I can pull that money. That's fine. So we're all going to stay in a Verbo together and go to Book Suburban. And so we finally all get to meet each other in person.
Yes, that's what I'm super excited about, is I get to see these authors I've been following for over a year. Like, I'll actually get to meet you guys in person. And that, like, excites me so much. I'm just like, yes, this is what I want.
Dawn
is there
was
anyone-
invited. I'm just
Yeah.
tagging along.
Yes.
Hey, you can be invited too.
Invited by proxy.
Yeah. I got invited as an influencer, which this is the very first event I've ever been invited to. So I was like really excited. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no idea. I'm winging it. We're just going to do interviews randomly. Like, that's our plan. Just walk around and be like, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Kind of like Books on Booze on the road.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, is there anyone that you're super excited to see there? Like, besides your little group, like the friend group that you have?
You can shout out your friend group.
Yeah, you can shout them out too.
I mean, so there's Katie. I think she was with you guys either last
Yes.
year
Yep.
or whatever. Then there's Gina. I have no idea how to say her last name. It starts with an H. It's
I don't
really
know if I have her. Okay.
Then there is Siri Pielski. I think that's how you say her name.
Okay.
So she actually lives in Kentucky, so she doesn't even have to drive. And I was like, that's not fair. And then we have Britt. Her first book hasn't out yet, so she will be publishing it. And then I think there might be one or two more. I'm really bad with names, as you could probably see from my own group of people.
Me too.
That's fine.
So I know, I think Grumble will be there, one of the voice actors. It's like one of the only other names I could, like, pick out. And I was like, yes, them. I don't know anybody else.
It's going to be such a cool event. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to see, well, like I said, all the authors that I've been following for over a year. So, like, there's a lot of them. I think half of the ones that are going to be going, I follow anyway. So I'm super excited about that. I'm excited to see Ghostface Ghost Coast, or Ghostface Golf Coast, whatever. You know what I mean?
We're all bad at names.
Yes.
I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see the tattoo, the group that does tattoos and they sing.
Yeah. They can, that they freak me out a little bit.
Oh, they scare you?
I love people in books. I don't always like people in real life. I have a very small tolerance for certain things.
Yeah, Dawn hates people too, so
I despise people. I like looking from afar. Like, I want to like see them in person, but I'm not going to talk to them. I will not talk to, well, I'll talk to like all the authors, but I'm not going to go up to like Ghostface and be like, hey, how's it going? I'll be, no, I'll admire from afar.
We live in the same city and I see her about 6 times a year in person.
Oh.
Yeah. I really know people well. even like we have a private like group chat, and it'll be the like Jessica and our other co-host Sonia back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then I'll pop in every like once a week and be like, "Yep, thumbs up," or "I'll be there," or I'll pop in with random videos of TikTok or something. But I don't talk. I'm just like,
Oh, I'm very active online to the point that you think I am a people person, and I have a short battery based on knowing the next time I am allowed to go to sleep. So if I know that I can go to sleep at 2 a.m., I'm okay doing all the things. Because at 2 a.m., I'm crawling in bed. And if you mess that up, I've lost all my spoons for like 3 days.
That makes sense. That 100 makes sense. We were joking, like on another episode. There was a joke about how all the people at Books and Bourbon are going to be just introverts or socially awkward.
Yeah.
We're all just going to be in a room together. Just
it's going to be so fun though.
Yeah,
it's going to be such a blast because we're all going to be super awkward. It's going to be a good time. I can just tell.
Yeah, the signing I went
shit at each other.
The signing I went to last week or so, that you could see the ones that were just like, I wrote a book. And then there was me and a couple other people that were like, we wrote books. Like,
we're right.
I was mad in the moment, but my favorite moment is the older lady comes up to my table and she's like, what are all these books? And I was like, so I usually write polyamory with the exception of there's a couple sapphic things. And she goes, okay, what is that? I was like, more than two people in a relationship. And you just see her whole face contort in anger. And then she looks at one of the books and it's black with red writing. Why would you ever put red on black? I was like, because I like it. And I was like, I get that it's not great on the eyes, but I liked it, so I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine. So she's looking at him. She picks the book that's like got pink flowers, got a little chain around the vase and whatever. She turns it. I was like, of all the books you could pick up, you pick up the one that has 4 dudes. She's reading the back like blurb, and she looks at me. Do you ever write these with humor? And I was like, no. I wanted to give her a speech on polyamory because like what it was and the fact that it's real and like it was like, oh, maybe this is not the table for you, ma'am.
Yeah, you gotta go over one. Like,
do you find it difficult to deal with like that judgment of your work? I mean, especially because like your parents can't read your stuff either.
Not really, because I think most of it is ignorance rather than hatred. Because a lot of people that read don't have the same kind of hatred that a lot of bigots and racists and people that don't support the LGBTQ community have. It's more of just, I didn't know. And like, once you're over like 70 or 80 years old, I'm gonna give you that because that's not your generation. Like all of this openness and like willingness to talk about your identity was not a thing. So now when we do it, it terrifies them. And I get that. So I'm gonna leave them alone. If they want to learn, that's fine. If not, next table, please.
that's really big of you. Like honestly, because some people can't get the mindset of like how things used to be versus how they are today. And they'll like condemn them for the way that they are. And I try to like have some like understanding and acceptance. But like it's hard when you hear some of the things.
I know. I have no problem yelling at an 80-year-old. Like if you're gonna be a bigot, keep it behind your own door. Don't bring it out where I'm around.
Well, it kind of stems into, although now we're getting all philosophical, but it stems into the same discussion with like skin color. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of times where holding your tongue is safer and better and will help people learn better than it is to lash out. And so the way my parents always taught me was to teach first because they're ignorant. Always believe that someone is ignorant first. So teach. And then after you've taught, now it's okay to get a little angry and be a little bit more upfront with them about the topic, because now they know, like, you gave it to them. And so I
It's
take
just they
it the
chose
same
not to
way.
listen. Then that's the issue, right? Like,
Yeah. I take it the same way with all of my books. If you don't know what polyamory is, or you want to turn your nose up about more than two people in a relationship, that's fine. I'm going to think that you're ignorant. Would you like to learn? No, that is fine. You are still ignorant to me. You're not, trying to be mean. You just don't know. If you don't want to know, that's fine. But then move on.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I teach you and you're still being mean, then we're going to have a conversation, because now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
that's exactly it.
I think it's great that you're writing about that stuff too, because it brings the topics up in conversation. It's representation in that as well, because like for so many years, people wouldn't write about that stuff. People wouldn't see that stuff. We're only just getting like a lot of polyamorous shows coming out and that kind of thing, but it's still new.
It is still new to them.
For a good poly show.
Yeah.
Not just she decides she wants to have a night with 3 dudes and then they're like, all right, peace out. Like, no, I want the whole relationship. Give me a Hallmark Christmas movie where she meets 3 dudes and goes, you know what, this is my forever.
Yeah. We're just getting the gay like holiday movies.
We're not even getting that right.
Yeah, we're not even getting those right. They just like take a monogamous story and like plop in the same gender, and they're like, oh, this makes sense, without looking at any intersectionality or issues going on with that. Yeah, so we're slowly.
So slowly. Snail's a slow.
We gotta write our own screenplay and shop it off to Hallmark. See,
I mean, I don't know why we don't.
Yeah.
Instant nudge, everyone.
Then you'll see, like, in 5 years, just a mass flood of polyamorous Hallmark Christmas movies.
I would watch them.
I actually love Hallmark Christmas movies, so yeah, I would probably watch them all too.
Yeah, some of the new ones that were getting stupid.
Right? I know, they get so cheesy, and I'm like, did that really work?
Did you see the one? There's a whole joke about like the Christmas decorating of the Christmas show. Are you coming? And it's like 5 sentences long, the name of the Christmas. And they repeat it like 5 times, and apparently the writer was like he like he kind of did it on purpose, and so he's like, now I'm insta famous, and we're like, yeah, because that was dumb, but it was funny, but it was dumb.
Yeah. I always recommend Christmas Wedding Planner to everyone, especially if it's like you haven't watched like a Hallmark type Christmas movie. It's mwah. And like Joey Fatone or whatever is in it from NSYNC. So,
yeah,
it's great.
That's not okay, that's fine. It's the 98 degrees guy. I think.
Degrees, Nick Lachey or whatever, that dude.
His little thing on TikTok, I was like, what are you trying real hard, dude? Calm down.
Oh my God.
Like, what was that? He's like a 50-year-old man.
Like, who are you resonating with? Because it's not us. No.
My whole childhood is now ruined because of that. Like, I used to listen to them. Not as much as like NSYNC. Like, I used to listen to 98 Degrees, like maybe a little bit, but it was more into NSYNC. But still.
Oh, I love TikTok for showing celebrity cringe, just in general.
Oh yeah.
So he always creeped me out a little bit, especially when he made his one song. I don't know, but it was basically, I do everything for you. Da, 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 da. And I was like, this feels weird. I don't.
His misogyny was showing. Okay.
Watching Newlyweds, like he treated Jessica Simpson so bad.
Oh, so bad.
Oh, I didn't grow up watching TV, and I don't like reality TV because I live in reality, and I don't want that.
That's why I like reality TV. I get to watch other people's reality shit shows, and I'm like, oh, It's not as bad as mine. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll stick with the books, and then like one of the things that I'll do, like I used to watch TV a lot more and all of the shows and stuff, but now what I'll do is I will read what I like to call guilty reads. They're more like torture reads where it's a trope that I love, but it's not written in the way that I love. So I suffer the entire book or the series, that's what it is. And like, so one of my favorite torture reads, Stepbrother Romance. Love those. Love that trope. Not when you call the girl little sis.
We call her
You're
what?
not related.
Little sis.
You are not related. Find another pet
no.
name, please.
No. No, or any like the whole like taboo of like step family or whatever, and then they call them like, oh, uncle something. It's like, that's not your uncle. Like, stop saying it. That's giving me creeps. Like, stop it. It's
I'm okay if it's
no.
a joke where like, or like they get married or whatever, and the girl's trying to be respectful, so she's like step bro or bro, and he's like, I'm not actually related, and then she finally believes that, and then they get together. That's fine. But as a pet name, you're not related. And I get that some people are into that trope. That's not a trope I'm into, though, and so you keep making me forget that that's not what we're doing. No, thank you.
I love it. It's like people that watch bad movies for the sake of it being bad. It's like reading books that aren't the way you want them to be just for the sake of doing that. It's hilarious.
The current one. I'm not sure how many times her nipples can pebble, but apparently it's every time her guys walk into the room. Every time.
Did she lose her breath?
Huh?
I don't know how to catch my breath. Did she lose her breath?
No, but like she'll just look up and then her vagicy weeps.
I love it. Did he growl at her? He's got to have growled at her, right?
Like
all the tropes. Like all the cliches.
Again, I like the original trope that is going on in this book, and so I picked it up, and like I see the quotes all over TikTok, and I'm like, yes, absolutely. And then I'm reading it, and I'm like, no,
no, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I paid for.
But now I have to finish just to be like, yes. There are books I have not finished before, but one of them, the author at the end was like, should I continue this story? After they left us on a cliffhanger and like stole the best friend and whatever. And it was supposed to be dark romance, and it was just weird romance and like almost like dubcon. Like I was like, okay, that's fine. But then like the best friend got stolen away by the bad guys, and she's all like, I have my happy ending, but they don't. So, oh no. And then there was like an author note. Should I continue this? Don't ask me. Don't.
Yeah, like this is your story. I don't know. How does it continue? Does it continue? Does it just end there?
I was like, that made me so mad. Absolutely not. I'm not reading this anymore.
It's like a do you like me letter? Yes or no?
No.
I was like, oh, don't do it. I'm okay if you leave us on a cliffhanger and never come back. But don't ask me if I want another book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if there's not one in your mind to like produce out, why are you asking us? Like, that feels like it's forced then.
Let me
Like,
hate
it's not
you for not
authentic.
finishing it, and we move on, and I'll read your other stuff. But don't ask me and then also not give me. Like, I don't think there was another one coming out. There might be one now. Not that I've checked, because I don't. Nope. Another guilty read was the second book was written because everyone clamored for Guy X to be part of the harem. So the author wrote them in. And I was like, this feels weird. He doesn't fit.
Yeah.
No, the whole time I was like, he doesn't belong here. She's fine with the other ones.
Okay.
At like weird times.
You're coming up with a lot of like what makes a good story. So I have a question for you. What are some tips you would give someone that's just starting out as an author that wants to release?
Like, do they already have the book or are they writing?
They're in the process of writing. They've decided they're going to write a book.
um, I guess the biggest thing is don't force it. So if the story's not there, choose something else. I usually write 2 or 3 or have 2 or 3 ideas going at the same time. If one's not working, just hop on the other one. Your first draft is never perfect. Just get it out. Just get it out there on paper. We can fix it later. But if you never get it out, then you've never written a book.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And then the other thing is it's never too early to start promoting your book. As long as you know what it's about and you've kind of got a title and you know your characters, go for it. My very first book, I didn't really do any promotions because I didn't know what to do. And so now I've got a book out and I'm like, hey, I have a book out. And they're like, who are you? I had to build my following after my first book. And it was disheartening because I'm like, I have a book. And they're like, I still don't know who you are. And so now I have that following. I'm like, I have a book. Oh, cool. I know you. Okay, let's read. So we have a lot of new authors in our Discord and they're about to publish their first book in the next couple of months. And we're like, promo now. Start telling people, be annoying on TikTok. Put it out there. I am writing about a such and such. Great. When's your book coming out? I think June. Stay tuned. Follow me. You will get all the updates. But like those are the main things.
No, those are good tips, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the don't force it and like just write whatever and then get it out. Like,
I mean, the fact that you're working on multiple ideas at once, like, makes sense on why you have so many books coming out, like, and so many. Now I'm seeing a picture.
it's like creative mind, right? It just doesn't shut off. It's like 3 a.m. I'll wake you up and I'm like, oh, I have new characters.
Ideas build ideas. Is there a social media you find helps promote the most?
Facebook and TikTok are definitely the best. TikTok, you have to promote more and be active more. And I think one of the things that a lot of people miss is you can't just publish a video and then be like, I'm done. You have to interact with everybody else as well, or TikTok won't push you. So if you're just constantly posting and then, don't watch any videos, then after a while you'll see your views start to drop a little bit because you're not interacting. With Facebook, there are a lot of people asking for recommendations or just, I'm feeling in the mood for an Omegaverse with a male Omega. Great. I have one. I have a duet. Here you go. And although that's not the one that the person asking for it wants, anybody else who following the post sees it. So you might get 3 people who've never seen your book. Ooh, let me go check that out. And then they go do it. So like Fridays are big days with a lot of like Friday promo. And then I'd probably find like 15 to 20 posts across all of the romance groups to drop my books in. But you just have to stay up on it.
Yeah. See, I don't do the Facebook anymore. I used to be like really big, like always constantly on Facebook and chatting and getting new friends. And now I just focus on TikTok. I don't even look at my Facebook anymore. That's my problem.
Well, for some of the newer authors, what I did is I opened a Facebook Messenger chat. And so whenever I find a post to promo in, I just send it there and y'all can figure it out.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
That's really sweet of you that you're helping others like that.
Because I was like, I know it's annoying to scroll through Facebook, but if I'm already doing it, here's a post.
Yeah.
Aw, no, that's actually really thoughtful. That you're like, this is like what I love about Book Talk community or just the book community is that we're always like helping each other some way.
Yeah. Feels like a lot of hype. Like everyone's giving each other more hype. They're like, yeah, you go. Good job. I'm all out of questions. Do you have any more, Dawn?
I think I'm all out. I can't think of anything right now. I'm just super excited that we're gonna see you in October.
Me too. See
Like,
all
I'm
of it.
so excited.
Yes. So if you want to take this moment, plug all your socials, any books, projects you have coming out, whatever you want to plug, this is your stage.
So I mean, I'm N Slater basically on all of my socials, or Slater.47. I have a lot of or MM Plus projects coming out. I think my favorite one right now is an dark academy magic romance with 6 M's, coming out in June. The main character is human, and then he's got 5 creatures as his mates. I've been working on my office with that one. That one makes me really happy.
It's gonna make me really happy too.
Yeah,
I
I
see
was
it.
like, it's gonna make a lot of other people really happy too, I think.
The other thing is I started getting into doing more fancy formatting. And so I started making black pages with white text.
Ooh, I love that. I love seeing those.
If you have a second, I can get a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show it to us for our YouTube. Our YouTube.
I love those kind of books. Those are just amazing. Because it's so different, right? Like, you always see white pages, black ink. So seeing black pages, white ink, like the reverse, it's easier on the eyes, I feel.
Yeah, it's like night mode, like dark mode on like
Exactly.
other apps.
Yeah. No, that's what I like about it. Same.
Found it. Oh, okay. So this is my cover of the Megaverse Shifter book, and the pages.
Oh, that looks so cool.
That looks so cool with the wolf. I love that.
Yeah. So.
Like, the whole book is done like that. I love it.
Yeah. So once I figured out how to do it, I was like, yeah, I'm offering special editions. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
That's such a creative idea to, like, you know, change the format in that way. I feel like a lot of authors wouldn't think of it.
The wolf looks really good, like, because it's a white wolf, and then you have it on the black page. Like, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
that was really
that's
good.
my best-selling book when I go to signings. So
I'll have to keep my eye for that one.
Yeah, I was like, I know what I'm getting.
I mean, fair.
Do you have any, like, pre-order, like, sign-up sheets or anything like that?
No, I usually put all of my pre-orders just on the Zon, and people can just. I schedule via pre-orders, so most people will use a planner, and I use the Zon. So 90% of what I'm doing this year is already way through November.
So how many books are you going to be bringing with you to Books and Bourbon?
I'm gonna have to figure that out because I should pick and choose. Because between now and October, I have 7 or 8 more coming out. So I have to figure out.
She's bringing a whole car. She can just fill the car.
I am bringing my own car, and I've heard it's a bigger event. So, like, maybe 7 or so of every book max. Some of the books are really small. So, like, the one I read to you is this big.
Yeah.
So, like, that series will have 4 in it. But bringing 7
we'll have to get another suitcase to check our
I know, I'm like thinking strategically, how am I going to get all these books home? Like, am I FedExing them? Am I bringing an extra suitcase? Am I doing both? Am I just leaving my clothes in Kentucky and coming home with the clothes on my back and books? Like, is that what we're doing?
So depending on what you're doing and how much, whatever, you could just hand them to me and then come pick them up in like a week because we live so close to each other.
That's true.
so
I can have an
true.
excuse to go shopping in the States and be like, I left my book there. I need to bring it back. Listen, I left my book like near Buffalo. I need to go get it.
Yeah, because we
maybe
could
go for
meet in
some
Buffalo,
shopping.
and then I just hand you
The
stuff.
giant box of books.
I left a book. I'll tell my husband I left a book. I come home with like a huge tote.
Oh man, I thought it was only one.
One box, maybe.
You just didn't hear me right.
Start gaslighting him. Yeah.
I would. That's what I'm good at.
Well, thank you so much, N. Slater, for coming on. I don't know if you just want Slater or for coming on our podcast. I'm excited to meet you in person in October, and yeah, so all of the links to everything will be in the description below. And yeah, if you're in Kentucky, come to Books and Bourbon. Good.
Yeah.
Meet all the last like 3 episodes, I think, were Books and Booze authors. Come meet them.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
Come meet them. Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hi.
Bye.